Good morning. Some people say I look like Jesus, but I'm not Middle Eastern. My ancestry was Russian and Ukrainian and German and Austrian. Some of my family was from the European areas, not the Middle East. But today is the anniversary of January 6th, the 4th-year anniversary. And so it's time to have a come to Jesus moment. I think that we're in a situation here where we have a person that incited riots to protest an election and a convicted felon of financial fraud you and I would go to prison for, and business practices that saw people go to jail for Trump and cover up his crimes, and yet now he's going to be inaugurated as the 47th president. And my fellow Americans, we sold our country to Vladimir Putin. We did. We had fears about immigration and trespassers on our border. Who do you think funded coming here to help elect Trump to stoke those fears? But Putin had the money to bring people from Turkey, China, also Russia, of course, Ukraine refugees, across the border through the Darien Gap, and they were able to get the soldiers that they had easy training for and the people they released from their prisons, including debtors and political prisoners, and have them just simply lead women and children from Colombia through Panama, there you go again, up through Mexico to the Texas border. I mean, then they could be the ones caught and then returned, deported, and commit the crimes all over again, because that's easier than being deployed in combat in Ukraine. This is so simple. I think that people then were just so fearing of anyone of different languages and different backgrounds of that, and oil and inflation prices at the stores, which again were caused by this unholy alliance, that they forgot their actual morals and the way to treat other human beings, and wanted to isolate themselves and hide their buried values. That was the same case throughout history. You know what's in the baseball book besides baseball? The fact that Italians and Irish weren't allowed to marry, that they were race laws in the United States that are keeping Tadio and Arlene apart. There's a lot of history that unfolds, and it's all because of our human nature and our true buried values. The truth has value. Class is just an act. Don't you get it? The crisis on the border was artificially instigated, as was the inflation, and the reason prices are up and gasoline costs have risen, all because of people in power wanting to remain there and having the assistance of others that are going to benefit trillions of dollars from this, including Trump, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and the Chinese Communist Party. And let's not forget Bibi Netanyahu. If you're a white Christian nationalist watching this, you shouldn't even call yourself Christian or expect other people who really want to be in that moral algorithm calling themselves your compatriots. I don't want to be anything like you. You're not inspiring me to join up and be wanted to be counted amongst any of you. And then if you're a Latino man, please, don't try to rally around American nationalism to prove that you're American. And something going on like that right now is not helping everybody appreciate the contributions of Latinos to the United States and Native Americans and their contributions to the United States. A lot of us want to welcome you here. Many of us forget that Native Americans were here first. Europeans were the migrants and the invaders. They say history is written by the victors, but it would be a greater victory if we all learned to live together now and build a greater nation, and not let the forces of the right-wing ideology divide us and continue to keep us at each other's throats while they make the profits and reap the rewards, including those who are acting as puppets for the greater nation-state actors and the oligarchs that control Russia and China and their aims in the world. But let's stop virtue signaling, okay? The truth has value. Class is just an act. The other side is pretending like everything's going to be okay. No. Trump's pontificating about buying Greenland. Why? To give his friend Putin the oil drilling contracts that Greenland won't allow, actually, ignoring the environmental damage that could be done. Then, of course, there's Panama. Let's try back and retake the canal with American engineers to help build. But the reason being, sure, maybe it will lower trade costs and lower prices in the stores for consumers, maybe, but it will also renegotiate the interest rates and the financial disclosures of both Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Now, why could anyone possibly want that? Well, I think that 2025 is going to be a very interesting year. In the past, I've written novels suggesting why COVID was released on purpose to force a mail-in vote that Trump could cheat. And then also, now we have the Gaza attack and the people there just almost genocidically wiped out by Israel, whose Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu allowed plans for their security details and police stations and communication arrays to be leaked so that Hamas knew exactly how and where to attack. They were pawns in all this, and guess what? Their money comes from Iran, who gets their money by selling oil to China against sanctions, and China is the main supplier of funds to Russia from buying Putin's oil. They all want to weaken the United States and defeat the West because there's an alliance in the Eastern Hemisphere that would like to see their time come. And at the same point, Buried Values is going to, of course, cover baseball this year. We're going to bring back some more Westerns and write about how all of this ties in, because the reason history is actually repeating itself, a few different names, different regions, different players, but human nature has stayed the same. We all have buried values. So I hope you'll join us on this journey, enjoy the books to come, and keep on reading. Remember, the more you know, the more you can resist. And if you're watching this, you are the resistance.